Hi, team. Welcome to the Escape Podcast for Star Wars The Old Republic. Coming up, we talk about Chapter XIV. But first, a couple bits of news and shout out to our guild, LA Yacht Est, on Jedi Covenant. Our broadcast astromech today is EPC 145. Jerkadeer, my brother. Hey, man. Neshab Rudni. Go ahead and look that one up.
Your accent is impeccable.
With me, as always, is Seema. How you doing, Seema, my brother?
I'm doing great. I have to say, though, I cannot believe it is June already.
I know.
I know we moved the podcast a little bit so to be recording today on June 1st, but
yeah, we did move it.
This year has flown by. But I'll just say I've played through the new chapter. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I really, really liked it. And I also noticed I noticed this last week, but I do really like that Annihilator T4 1D in the new Cartel pack, which is the Revenge pack, which is a droid companion. So I might be looking for that.
I have not seen it. I did hear a couple of people talking about it in guild chat. I hadn't looked it up. Does it look pretty cool?
Well, if you go down into the Cartel Bazaar, there's one standing down there, so you can go look at it. And that's what I had done earlier.
That's a good idea. They had. Did Delphi not put pictures up? No, I think she did.
She probably did. I just happened to know that because I went down to the Cartel Bazaar to check something else, and he was standing there. I was looking for that new vendor, which we'll cover in the news. But yeah.
Yeah, I found him. He doesn't have much on him. He just has the 3 customizations. Yeah. He's over by the 2 guys that you turn the contracts into to get the companions.
Right, and he's like 1 inch away from the Annihilator T4 1D.
Oh, well then
that's standing there.
So, boy,
he could pat him on the head.
Vectron Enforcer mount looks weird. It's like a little It's like one of those submarines, those super deep submarines. Annihilator T4. Oh, that is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah, I might have to get one of those. I did get my other companions. Finally, I got the Assassin Droid and the Corslug and the Gonk Droid, which are awesome. And my week this week went pretty well as well. I did have quite a bit of fun with XIV today. I did spend some time with the guild this week as well. Did a little fun with Mandatory Fun Night. We had a ton of people on. We had like 20 people on. So I sat out and just heckled from the sidelines during a quick run of EV.
And I DPS'd.
And you DPS'd. How did that go?
I did what I laughingly referred to as DPS. I was thinking about it today when I was running through the chapter on my heal spec mercenary. I was thinking, I should just switch your spec to DPS. This would go so much quicker. And you could do it in your DPS spec without even wearing any gear. And it went really quick for me, too, in my healing spec. So,
which I did.
I could probably have one-shot everything if I had,
with actual gear. You totally could.
Yeah, if I was just using, actual instead of, yeah.
Yeah, I was DPSing on my Vanguard and still having fun with that. So the only thing I haven't done very much lately is heal. So maybe I should try that, and then we can compare notes. How much you like DPS versus how much I like healing. I also, and yes, as you mentioned, we did move the podcast again this week. After we finally got things settled on Tuesdays, for June here, BioWare decided that they were going to move the release to a Wednesday. So that was really nice of them. I know they did that just to mess with us. So we had to move this week to Wednesday, which is fine. But we'll continue to do this on Tuesdays when we can. And I also noticed my only other comment for the week is, boy, my inventory is so full. Now we got a little bit of relief this patch, which we'll talk about, which is awesome. But I have so much this is my inventory even after clearing it out. I just have rows of it's all 220 gear, so I need to like spread it around and put it on companions. Let's see, there's a 216 piece, but I got anything that was below 216, I got rid of, and this is my cleared out. This is with like my bank completely full, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. I need to take care of that.
Crazy.
Sometime too. However, that does lead us to a bunch of actual news, not Max's messy inventory news.
Now, an Imperial News Network report.
In the news this week, we do have some patch notes. We'll go through that a little bit. Let me kick it off with a look at just the general notes that came out. They did a couple bug fixes. They did fix one of the weapons that came out recently and added another tuning slot to it. I hope they continue to add tuning slots to more of the weapons. A new tuning was released this week in the new cartel pack as well, which I sort of like and think I need to get if I can scrape together the 30 million credits. I'm sure that it'll be on the cartel market. But if you ever look at the armor that I like to wear, it's got an effect on it that's it's sort of damaged and it's sparking and there's smoke coming out of it. That's the same effect that your weapons get when you put that tuning into the weapon. So it'll match my armor if I get it. So I want to get that. And it sparks and smoke comes out of it and it's almost on fire. There's just like a little burst of flame once in a while. Once I get the one that's completely on fire, then.
But is it fire enough?
Not enough. Not enough. It's good enough for now, and it matches my armor. Okay, you got me. You gave me a great idea. Now I want armor that's on fire. So I want weapons on fire and armor on fire.
I mean, why stop there? Your ship could be on fire.
Yes, it should be. If you play Galactic Starfighter and you get damaged quite a bit, but you don't get killed, your ship will be on fire. So you have got that going for you. Also in the general patch notes, there was an addition to the Legacy cargo hold. We do get another tab if you would like. It costs 3 million credits if you want to unlock it with credits, or 750 cartel coins. So go to your Legacy storage and you can add that. I'm probably going to do it 750 cartel coins versus 3 million credits. I'm probably going to do it with cartel coins because I have a big bank of cartel coins still. And if you do it with cartel coins, that opens it up for your entire account, remember. So if you play on multiple servers or ever have a need where you think you're going to need to take a character over to another server, you can use that 750 coins and get it on all servers, which is sort of nice. Anything else you saw
I think I'm going to use
interesting?
cartel coins too. I mean, I don't have a huge supply, but yeah. It just seems like a better deal. I'm definitely going to do it.
They added
because, inventory.
Right.
I mean, I was running around while I was doing the chapter today. There were so many slicing nodes, but I had to open boxes as I got them, or else I couldn't get any new boxes.
Yeah.
Because I have like 4 slots open in my inventory.
Right, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the new planet a little bit. But you get 3 at a time from a grade 9 node, so you fill up your inventory really quick.
Yeah. So you're in trouble if you don't have 3. I mean,
The only other point of interest.
Oh, go ahead.
The only other point of interest I saw in the general notes was they added a couple legacy perks. So you can add a legacy cargo hold to your personal ship, and you can add an item modification station. And then they had another side note that said they're going to add a whole bunch of modification stations to the Republic and Imperial fleets. Was there some big problem where people really need modification stations?
Well, maybe they felt that, since it costs cartel coins to do that stuff, maybe they felt that was, a good idea. Just make it a lot more. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have them in their strongholds and guild flagships and everything else.
Which I do. So that's interesting. What else?
And then I see that they added a quick travel point to the cartel bazaar too, which is very convenient.
I would like those in more. I want that for my stronghold, actually. That's what I want for my stronghold. My personal starship. That would be great.
Also, from the patch notes some new things cropping up in the cartel market, including companion customizations for some of the recent companions that were obtained via cartel packs, like the Dog, the Nexu, and the droid, not the droid we were just talking about, but the probe droid. So you can buy these customizations from a new vendor down in the Cartel Bazaar. They cost 10 Jawa junk. That's the purple one. And you've already bought one. Yeah, I can see it. You put it on your Nexu.
Yes, and I gave him the ever popular skunk face, as I call it.
And they did something I was really glad to see, because I got caught by this when I made a cyborg. But now you can do the appearance options of the human hairstyles and the human hair colors. The number one bundle of each of those you can apply to cyborgs, Chiss, let's see what else, Miralon, Sith. Not the hair colors. The hair colors you can just do cyborgs, but the hairstyles you can. So new hairstyles for your Chiss, Miralon, Sith, Miraluka, and cyborg. So that's always good news. You can have those dreadlocks or whatever now probably, or the big blonde hairdo. Of course, that would look so awesome on a Sith. And there's new Togruta customization options, but I have not looked at those yet. I will look at them soon, though.
Yes.
You can. I think they're available in Character Create, but also in the appearance modification stations.
Good to know. Good to know. Also, in the patch notes, you can look it up. We talked a little bit about it last week. There are class balance changes that went in for the consular, the Sage and Sork healing specs for the most part. A little bit to the DPS Sork and Sage specs in that it reduces the range of dot spread in particular. And a little bit of a nerf to Vanguard and PowerTech in taking the range of their two ranged attacks and dropping it down to 10 meters. We talked about it some last week. It's minor tweaks to try to bring both of those top classes back in line with a lot of the other classes. So rather than try to buff every class, these were a couple outstanding situations, especially in PvP. So they made a few of these tweaks. It's still expected to be very strong for both of them. It's not expected to impact them overly much, but we'll see in the next week or two as things settle down in PvP what people say. If everybody stops playing Sorks and goes and plays Commando healers, no, it's probably not, but if that happens or nobody wants to play our power tech, Commando healing is still good, as is Smuggler operative healing. But Sorks were outclassing everyone with a couple of their extra abilities, especially in PvP.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is to get the variety back, right?
Yeah. So we'll see how that shakes out.
And there was some one operations fix this patch note round, and it fixes a fix to the Bronte's encounter in the Dread Fortress. I guess there was an issue where her hands, which is actually a mob, would occasionally spawn at full health, even though you had reduced their health in a previous phase. So I guess that's been fixed. They fixed an issue that caused weapon effects to go missing after you have used an ability from a particular weapon. It was a volatile derelict saber staff, so that seems like a huge fix. One weapon affected. And then there's a couple of Warzone things. I guess players were able to get atop the center turret in the Alderaan Civil War Warzone, but no longer. They can no longer do that. I don't know the context of that. Do you, Max? Did that give an unfair advantage or something?
I don't know. I don't see why it did give that very much of an unfair advantage. It's not like you couldn't be targeted or DPS'd while you were standing up there. But it's fine. It's not supposed to be standing on there, so get off.
Get off my center turret. And then there was a bug where it was incorrectly bolstering. It was looking for augments in the wrong slot, and bolster was, I guess, messed up because of that. So that's been fixed. So that's pretty much it for patch notes.
We did have some news about the speed run contest for Eternal Championship, and it did complete, and they did award some winners. There's a little bit of controversy. We're not going to go too much in depth on it. I'm not exactly sure why they took the hard line that they did, but with whatever system they were using to sort of go through and check results in the logs or however they were doing it, they decided to make some broad sweeping disqualifications of people in general. If you had ever used /stuck, or there was a couple other terms in there, like if you had ever had terms of service violations on the forums or in game, then there was some pretty sweeping disqualifications of possible candidates for that speed run. So they awarded it. Somebody's a winner. That's pretty cool. I think there were enough challenges, though, that they probably could have handled it a little bit better. Sounds like some mistakes were made, and it's a hard thing to do any kind of contest like that where you're pitting people against each other, I imagine. So
yeah, I think if
not
they
gonna
do
it
this again, they really need to maintain their own leaderboard so that there's no confusion about where everybody stands.
Let's see, what else? Character transfers.
Okay. Just a reminder that the character transfer sale is on right now until June 5th. So 90 cartel coins to transfer a character from server to server within a region. So if you wanted to transfer from North America to EU, then it's still the same old big high price. But for the 90 cartel coins for the inside a region transfer, going on till June 5th. So if you've been waiting for that, don't wait anymore. Do it now.
Absolutely. Couple items in community news. We have our usual Alea Iacta Est fun stuff going on. As I said, even on the Republic side this week, that mandatory fun night is really filling up. So get in, check in early. We'll certainly prioritize people that don't get to run very often and new people. I see we had some new people even joining tonight. I'm happy to see that anytime. We're always doing stuff on that Tuesday night that's open, and then we've got our op teams on Republic team on Monday, and a team on Wednesday, and a team on Thursday, and a team on Friday. Wow, we've got a lot of teams. And sometimes GSF nights on Saturday. So plenty of things going on. Couple other things outside of Alea Iacta Est that I wanted to give a shout out to is Snave put a post on Reddit to announce the round 6 of the PvP event that he has hosted in the past. So this is the Ultimate Regstar Championship number 6 that will be on Saturday, July 2nd on the Red Eclipse server. If you are on Red Eclipse and you're a PvPer, you could do this 1v1 tournament. It's a very well-run tournament. They also typically have some great prizes in game that are part of it too. If you're not on that server, it's still an excellent event. They stream it live. Snave does a pretty good job of doing the voiceover and talking about what's going on from a PvP perspective. He's quite a character in and of himself, so you gotta be prepared for that. But it makes it entertaining, and it makes it nearly, in my opinion, nearly esport quality. So I really like that as a community event that happens. Something else to keep in mind and look forward to this Saturday. The Galactic Gamers Coalition podcast, where a bunch of podcasters from all the different podcasts get together and have an hour-long session where they chat about the state of the game and current topics of interest. That's going to be happening this Saturday, and I will probably be on it and hang out with the...
Don't say probably.
I will be on it. Seema's making me do it.
Yes, I am.
But it is always a good time and great people. If I believe they're streaming it live. I believe we're live when we do it on the
I
Saturdays.
think so too. Yeah,
but
I think so.
Certainly shows up on the feeds and in iTunes and stuff afterwards as well, so you can look
And
for it.
Tio is the hostess time, and he's always on top of all that editing and publishing stuff, so it'll be really quick, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What else, Seema? What if someone's not in AIE and wanted to check things out? Is there anything that can be done? No.
Well, Max, to anyone who's not yet in AIE, our guild is always looking for new members on Jedi Covenant. Our parent community, also called AIE, is a very large, family-friendly, multi-game group. We have a solid guild in SWTOR. I should say guilds, because we have one on the Republic side and one on the Imp side. If you want to know more about us and you like to read, then our website is called aie-guild.org. If you would like to come and join us on Jedi Covenant, which we hope you will, you can catch officers in-game by joining a channel called AIE LFO, and the command for that is /cjoin AIE LFO. Just say hi. Someone will pick up on you if they're there. Evenings are the best time for this. That's when most of us are on, so
Yep.
hope to see you in game.
Yes, we do hope to see you in game. And last but not least, certainly a shout out to the chat room. See, we've got a bunch of people in there tonight. Where even us doing these weird moves to different nights after we thought we settled on Tuesdays, we had to shift another one for another night. And so thanks guys for coming and hanging out, giving us comments and adding to the show both before, during, and after. That's really appreciated. And I will chat with all of you after the show. But with that, I think we can talk about, we've got a guest to introduce the new content, don't we? Brunmark's back, isn't he?
His accent is impeccable also.
Yes, well he certainly has a nice accent. He doesn't say burp 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 burp. Jerk-a-deer, my warriors.
Unless it's Christmas time and then jerk a reindeer.
So, chapter XIV. We are up to chapter 14 in this case, and we're also going to get chapter 15 this month. We didn't get them both at the beginning of the month, so have they announced when they're dropping 15? It's going to be sometime during the month before, in 2 weeks or something?
I want to say it's 2 weeks, yeah.
Okay, so
I read or heard or something, yeah.
So I think for whatever schedule reasons they wanted to squeeze an extra chapter in this month, but this was a good chapter, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit of detail. It'll be a little bit spoilery, so if you haven't run it yet, you may want to pause here and come back when you've done, and you send your comments along and chime in at that point. But we did go through it, and we certainly want to talk about some of the things that they added that are part of it, and maybe touch on a little bit of the story elements that we had fun with.
Karak Gaming in the chat is saying he thinks it's the last week of the month.
Interesting. So that brings up the question of when they're going to drop chapter 16 then, which we'll have to see. So
I'm going to go with beginning of July.
But if it's the last week, are they going to do back-to-back weeks? If it's the last week of this month and then the first week of the next month, so why wouldn't
they have to, because they set that expectation. Or they don't have to, but
they have to. Seema says.
I mean, we're not going to give them some slack just because they gave one chapter the week before. We're not going to go, okay, well then you can do this one whenever you feel like. We're going to go, no, we want it first week in July, aren't we?
Oh, no, we're of course going to cut them lots of slack and say, oh, you guys just do whatever you want. And,
That's right. August will be fine.
Maybe
after school starts again.
I and Seema and Waxus here and are hanging out on Darvanis. So, chapter XIV, chapter 14, Mandalore's Revenge, which I thought was an interesting title until I saw what was going on, and we'll get to in just a second about who Mandalore is. But it turns out that it's all set on the planet of Darvanis, which is the planet, if you've done the Scum and Villainy operation, that the Scum and Villainy town and the Bounty Brokers Association that was peddling their illicit weaponry was all based around Darvanis. I really like Scum and Villainy. I like the theme of it. I like the planet. I really like the fact that we've got that planet in game and we can come back here. I was afraid when I got to the end of the chapter that I wouldn't be able to go back, that it was just sort of like an instance thing, part of the story. But it's not. You can come here. There's not all that much to do. There's a couple things to do.
I was pretty sure when I saw the nodes that it was going to be that we were going to be able to come back here.
Yeah, so that's one
But
of the
I
key
really,
side things,
really,
the nodes.
really like the idea of a planet that previously we only had ops. So like, I just when I heard it was Darvanis, I'm like, cool.
Yeah. So we're standing here in the Mandalorian camp, where is the sort of the basis for what you're doing on Darvanis. That's pretty cool. And then I really like the rest of Darvanis. I like that it's sort of that dust storm, windstorm, and they kept those effects in the game. And it's a little bit like Tatooine with palm trees, but
Yeah, I really like too that the blowing wind. Sometimes you come across these palms that are like almost bent horizontal, or you don't even see the palm right away. First, you see the shadow of it on a wall, and it's at this weird angle, and I really like that.
right. As soon as you get into these open areas, it's the big dust storm that's really whipping it up, and the animation and the artwork of those palm trees and the weather effects is really cool. Here you can see in the background there those palm trees way bent over, and the sand blowing through, and yeah, this is one of the cooler effects of one of the planets.
I mean,
surfaces that
yeah, I
I really
mean,
like.
can Manon be far behind? They did Darvanis. Now they should do Manon and Asation.
Yeah, although we can go back. I mean, Manon still exists. We could go hang out on Manon, right?
Oh, that's true.
So I think what I would like for all of these kinds of things where they do add these planets in, they should add like one repeatable heroic is what I think, at least. If they added just one extra little heroic, sort of a reason to come back on a regular basis, I think that would be pretty cool. More stuff would certainly be useful as well. But a couple heroics on Manon, a couple heroics on Darvanis, that would be pretty cool, I think.
What I was thinking when I was here is that since it's obviously a place with resource nodes, to make it a really fun like farming spot would be to give all these droids that you have to kill to get to the nodes something to drop that you would want to collect.
Yeah.
So that killing them just to get so that you can get your node wouldn't be just like the tedious part. It would be like part of the farm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be cool. There's those giant Imperial walkers too that are one of the bonus quests.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason you couldn't have to like go back and kill 3 of those. One of the side missions.
If they were multi-tag, I would say yes, but they're too rare. It wouldn't be fun. I wouldn't think.
Okay, so that is an issue. So I thought that was an issue too, especially at first. Is I kept running up to them. It's just a bonus as you're going through. One of the first things that you're supposed to do when you get on Darvanis is kill 3 of these, not Imperial, Zakul walkers that are walking around, and you get a little. There's crates out here by the initial camp, and you can get an extra boost, which you sort of need, which is the anti-walker ordnance, which gives you a pop-up ability on your bar. Hey, wait, it's not working. Maybe it only works during the mission. Maybe you can't get it. I was thinking you could get it after.
Oh, I thought that part would be repeatable too.
So
Oh well.
The boxes are still blue, but they're not clickable.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
maybe it's because we're in a group, or I'm gonna kick you out of my group.
No.
While you're doing the missions, you can come back and get the items that are out of this box, and it gives you a little of one of those special abilities on the ability bar. So there's one called Anti-Walker Ordnance, which gives you a little rocket with like a 1 minute cooldown. You need to shoot that rocket into the walker to be able to significantly damage it. I did kill one of the walkers without that, because if you log off and log back on, that those little abilities go away, and I forgot about that, and I engaged one of the walkers. It just took me a while. It also took me a while at that time, and that was before I noticed what was going on. I think I even have a picture here. As I have been known to do before, from time to time. I was naked. So here's a picture of me
armor for Matt.
at least halfway through the chapter. I opened my character sheet. I don't know what I was looking at. Oh, I was going to look at one of my weapons had no color crystal in it at all. I don't know why that was. I think I passed that weapon around. I had to do something else with it. I don't know. So I was wondering why my weapons had two different colors coming out of them. One was because it didn't have a color crystal. And not only did I not have a color crystal, but I was not wearing gear at all whatsoever. And I went halfway through the chapter. I killed 1,000 sky troopers, as you do in each of these chapters. I killed two of the three walkers. One of them without even that ordnance debuff on the walker. All with no gear. I had my weapons for the most part, and I had the implants and relics, but so yeah, it wasn't tough. And I had Torian, so I played the whole chapter with Torian side by side. So there's another thing. I know, Seema, you were happy to get Torian back, or was that a highlight for you?
Yes, yeah, I was happy to get Torian back. We had a moment, and this is kind of a minor thing, but I was disappointed that they took his tech blade away, because one of the funs I had with him running around before was that, whenever we aggroed something, he would go flying in, and it was sort of part of the fantasy of, he's your bae and he's like killing all the mobs for you and all that stuff. Now he just sits back and shoots at him with his sniper rifle. He's doing the same thing, but it's not the same drama level.
Yeah. I also had him on heals most of the time, and that was a little less dramatic as well. I should have set him to DPS at least. But yeah, a melee DPS companion was always pretty cool, because they would sort of really jump in there and mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
I did play the whole chapter with him, because it was that's the whole theme. So this is the Mandalorians are, so here we're getting into more of the spoilers. But I liked the deal of the Mandalorians showing up, and I got a pretty big kick out of there's a new Mandalore, and lo and behold, it's our pal Shae Vizsla as the new Mandalore. I thought that was a little interesting twist there, right at the beginning, because Mandalore's Revenge confused me a little bit why the other Mandalore, the predecessor Mandalore, would be engaged, and not that I was interested to see how that would work, but having Shae Vizsla as the new Mandalore, I think that's good for the lore in general. What are your thoughts on that?
I like Shae Vizsla, so yes, I like that too. But I'm not tracking exactly what you mean by why would the previous Mandalore not also want revenge?
No, not that he wouldn't, but you sort of forgot about him, and he was only in the bounty hunter story.
Yeah.
And
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
it's like
Shae Vizsla is a much more big character for us,
right?
So
really
yeah, I enjoyed seeing her, and I liked her character in this as well.
Yeah, and she had a few interesting things that she had to do to sort of be part of that, take on that role of Mandalore. And then there was a little bit of commiseration with you as leading an alliance and her as the leader of these the Mandalorians
bloodthirsty,
who are a little bit out of control, and she sort of complains about it a little bit, that it's a tough job, and you're able to sort of talk shop a little bit as leaders. I thought that was a little cool side element of this as well.
Yeah, she said to me, I don't know if this was in response to a certain thing, but she said, "You're funny. I didn't think you'd be funny."
That's funny. I would have liked her as part of the alliance. She's just such a great character. I think it would have been cool to have her sort of as a companion, hanging out. I would pick her to be on my team anytime, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I did know what you meant until you said, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't know if I know what you mean.
I'm not sure now.
So I liked the art. I liked the theme. I liked the plot. What was your sort of summary of the plot points overall? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, in fact, I enjoyed the chapter before and the chapter before that. And like I've said, that I feel like for me anyway, the chapters are getting more and more engaging. This one was the most engaging yet, even though it did harken back to earlier chapters where you kind of went down a hallway killing sky troopers until you got to where the button you wanted to push. And they were spawning really fast, probably because I was doing it on the first day of the thing, so you'd have to kill them on the way back out again. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And it was, I don't know if it was short or if it just, shorter than the others, or if it just went quickly for me. But yeah, I mean, it was over about the time I was ready for it to be over, instead of, I didn't have that when's this going to be over feeling that I sometimes get. But yeah,
Of having
I
to
liked
kill 10,000. We only had to kill 1,000 sky troopers instead of 10,000. Yeah, I agree.
Yes.
It was about the same length, I feel, as most of the other chapters. It was probably a really good amount because it left me wanting just a little bit more out of a chapter. And I would have liked to just sort of hang out with the Mandalorians more and hang out with Shae Vizsla more. But it was a good story, a good bit of content, and well structured in terms of a beginning, middle, and end, and leading into what's going to happen next.
I guess another thing I would say too is that I'm glad that there's not a boss fight that you work up to at the end that's on the level of difficulty with the Eternal Championship or the Star Fortress, because you can, I don't know, I just felt like at this level you can play through and you can be with the story and you don't have to be thinking about, do I need to call someone to help me with this? Do I have my blah, 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 blah. I know people have criticized that the gameplay, the combat part of the storyline is super easy, but I'm kind of getting with that. I like it that way.
Yeah, if you can do it naked, I guess it's not too bad. So.
Yes, right.
So how about this guy, Como Fett? So here's a Fett that shows up. That's sort of interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody really likes him, if you were listening to General Chat.
Right, he's like a caricature Mandalorian.
Yeah, and he talks a lot of smack, and
And gloriousness in honor of the kill and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's a little bit of an ass, but not terrible. I did see a lot of commentary in general chat though that people wanted to shoot him in the face. So there's that. I thought that was interesting. I agree. There were just a couple points in fighting some of those sky troopers that I thought were interesting. There was one point where it's in the second half. What do you have to go? Where you're going in to blow up the factory, I think it was, and you walk up to a door, and then the door kept opening, and more of the sky troopers kept jumping through, and then it would open more, and there were more of them. I was like, am I supposed to like press some button to get them to stop like pouring through this door? I thought that was a little interesting little side effect.
I got it after a while, but at first I thought, is this going to be like forever or?
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. That's what I thought. I thought, is this going to be infinite until I learn the mechanic to shut them down or something? But it wasn't. It was just like 3 rounds. One other thing I was going to mention is the first round when you need to disable the 3 gun emplacements, and you need to. There's sort of a little winding path, and you clear some mobs that are outside as you get up to the top. All 3 of those, two of them have a back way exit where you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
aggro anything on the way out.
Yeah, you can jump down the
The
waterfall,
Yeah. So I thought that was,
which I love the little waterfalls. It's just, I don't know, just such a nice little touch.
yeah. Yeah, it was a nice little touch. One other little touch that I was noticing. So this whole place does have the real feel of Scum and Villainy. The little gates are the gates that you see when you're fighting Titan 6 and inside by the couple bosses as you're going through. I don't know if you noticed over here though, this bridge. I don't know if this is supposed to be the bridge or just a representation of a similar bridge, but this looks a lot like the bridge that leads to what's his name and his Kel Dragon that you fight at the very end of Scum and Villainy.
Styrak.
It's the bridge that has the holes in it, where
And this
the first time
this hole is kind of hard to miss though.
yeah the first time you run through that end bridge in Scum and Villainy, someone always falls through. But yeah, this looks like it. This is it's pretty cool to sort of see this and get that feel of Scum and Villainy. Makes me want to go back and do Scum and Villainy, so maybe we'll do that for Mandatory Fun Night this week. Problem is you can never get through Scum and Villainy.
I wish there was a way we could start in the middle, because we do the first half of it, and on MFM we've never done the second half of it for that reason.
You know, because it takes 40 minutes just to explain the Styrak fight. But
and
yeah,
then you
it's a
have to
good
go back and
place.
get your armor.
So what else? So we had the Mandalorian core story. Shea Vizsla, and we're attacking Darvanis. We're shutting down the Sky Trooper factory that's going on, and we have a side mission here to go that Scorpio is having us go off and to get what she calls Gemini Prime.
It's really the main mission. I mean,
Yeah, that's really our main mission of why we're here.
yeah. Yeah.
The Mandalorians are also trying to wreak havoc on some of the weaponry and that kind of thing too. But this, yeah, that's the core mission of why our alliance needed to be here and assault this place.
Yeah.
So tell me about.
I mean, I
Scorpio
always
this
knew
round.
that there was some kind of relationship between Scorpio and the Eternal Fleet, but I didn't.
Yeah, you did call that.
I did like the little turn it's taking. And when I spoke to Gemini Prime at the end, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much I want to say. I don't trust Scorpio, and I know people have said that before, and you're not meant to trust her, right? Because she's the one who says, I may kill you in your sleep.
Right.
But, yeah,
It's a weird. There's some weird developments going on as far as that goes.
I mean, she clearly has her own agenda, and I feel like it'll be, as long as it lines up with ours, then we're lucky.
So the Gemini Prime that you go and collect, it starts to say some stuff to you, but it's not really sentient. It's like saying some things and saying some things. And Scorpio, every time it says something, she's like, "Shut it down, shut it down." like, geez, do you not want something to slip out here? And then I don't know if you saw this. Just at the the very last scene, it's just panning away with Scorpio just giving you this deadpan look into the camera.
Yes,
spooky.
I know.
It's like,
And then you get a mail message from her afterwards.
oh, really? I have not read
Yes,
that
where she
mail yet.
says, "You've exceeded my expectations. I'll have to adjust my expectations in future."
Are you testing
Which
me?
sounds like a compliment,
Are you threatening
but
me?
but I think she's probably saying, "Yes, I will predict your actions better next time."
Yes, I will now account for my revised estimate of your capabilities when I decide how I will.
Yeah. She is so
Yes.
up to something, says Akar Tenar in the chat, and so right.
I know.
And I don't know about you, but I picked the option with Gemini Prime. I said, "Can you disable yourself?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay, here I go."
Yeah, so did I. She's like, yeah, no question. Yeah, sure. So it wasn't like it was fighting you at all whatsoever, and it wasn't like it really had much of a personality or was trying to communicate. It was a little bit of a weird situation. And then Scorpio's now stripping it down and taking it apart and trying to make it tick, but not destroy the memory or the personality matrix, I think is what she said, or something too. So
I mean,
I don't know.
oddly, in that scene where she's doing that, my trust level for Scorpio rose a little bit because I believed her during that scene.
Right.
But then it just all fell to hell after that.
Yeah, that scene was very reminiscent to me of Captain America Winter Soldier, when Tony Stark is messing with the AIs in the 3D hologram space. It really looked like that. So I was waiting for the AI to break out and become a malevolent force of its own.
Also, I want to mention before I forget, one of the conversation options I had with Torian, I went to click on it and I got a pop-up that said, "This will resume your romance with Torian, but it will end any romances you have going on right now.
Interesting.
You still want to click here." That
Interesting.
kind of thing.
Huh.
Yeah. Which I don't know if that's new. I had never run into it before, but I thought that was interesting. But of course, Torian is the deal, so I was not conflicted.
I did not get that pop-up. I did not romance Torian. In fact, I find Torian a little angsty, little immature, but that's just me.
Well, did you get the speech about how he had to leave Mako?
Yeah. Yeah, which...
And then but then he turns to me and says, I'm not leaving, not ever again. I'm like...
Well, you didn't say
Aw.
that to me. In fact, did you get the little conversation at the end then when Shea Vizsla's like, I do need young leaders for...
Yes, yeah.
So who knows? He may have to go back and... He's got to go. Sorry, hun. He's got a job to do.
Yes, but pain in the future is not pain in the present.
And then I think finally we had a little bit of the interstitial cameos from Arkin and Valen.
Those were awesome this time, I thought.
Yeah. Especially early on when she was Valen just being Valen was like, let's nuke them from orbit type of thing. It's so fun to watch them scurry and die.
And then she says, "Are you smiling? I can never tell."
Right. I know. I thought that was awesome. That was the best. She turns to Arkin.
Because his mouth is completely covered by his mask, of course. But
But
I did think that was actually kind of awesome because his face, you can tell what he's thinking just from his one eye that you can see. I think it's awesome.
So this was later when he was not happy anymore. I wish I had that screenshot because you could tell. Even though his mouth was covered, that really speaks well to the art and the direction of how they do these cutscenes. No other game, I still feel, no other game out there, no other MMO out there does cutscenes anywhere. Does that story gameplay anywhere near what Star Wars: The Old Republic does. I try to watch these cutscenes and these animations in some of these other games, and some of them are okay. Some of them a lot of them are just terrible. The mouths don't even match up to the words type of stuff. But the emotion that you get off of Arkin's face, even with half of it covered up with the mask, you're absolutely right. I thought that was amazing. And then at the end, he's pretty pissed. And gets up off his ass and says, "Bring me my flagship." And so obviously,
I have been on my throne too long.
Yeah. So that sort of sets up, I think, what's going to happen. We know that we're going to confront him in the future because we still have our fancy. Don't delete it. You still have your little weapon that you got from the little story with.
Oh my gosh, I hope so.
Yeah, as I was cleaning out my inventory, I took a look at that and I'm like, oh, better not mess with that. Better keep that in a safe place. Because remember, that weapon you got in chapter 12 has special abilities that...
Oh, I still have it, and it says tuning open.
Oh, and I think that's the one where they added the tuning in this latest patch. But the abilities that you get from that weapon were specific to the choices that you made within chapter 12 as well.
Right.
So I got Unity because I did some nice thing, and I got Resilience were the two abilities that I got off of that weapon. So that was that Satil Shan Darth Mar little thing. Don't lose that weapon. In theory, that's a key part of how you're going to be able to battle Arkan in the future.
I got Unity and Transcendence.
Excellent.
You have moved beyond the limits of your past.
On your deathbed, you will receive total enlightenment. So you got that going for you, which is nice.
Can't I have it total enlightenment before my deathbed?
I don't know. Ask the Dalai Lama next time you caddy for him. Maybe that could be a little upgrade he throws your way. Hey, Dolly. All right. To wrap it up, any final comments? Any tips or things that you saw that you got a kick out of?
Let me look at my notes here. Oh yeah, why is there a random NPC here in this tunnel called Minok?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, he's clearly not a Minok. He's a Mandalorian of some sort. I mean, he's a warrior, or he's dressed like one anyway.
Maybe it's like a bounty hunter named Snake, or like a biker named Snake.
Like Snake Plissken.
Yeah, it's like he's Minok. I had a couple interesting thing
Escape
I noticed
from Darvanis.
Snake Darvan. I noticed the little gold. If you have gold items in your for gold cartel items, they made the little gold insignia on the cartel item animated and sparkly in your inventory now. I don't know why they did that, but that was a little change we noticed. I also noticed, and I thought it was relatively interesting and a nice change, to not be called Outlander 50 million times and instead be called Newcomer, which was fine.
I hope Torian and that Newcomer aren't going to take too long. I felt kind of guilty at one point because they said that once, and I had actually gone AFK for a bit.
When they said not going to take too long, yeah, I did too. I heard them saying, whatever happens, we're going to be blowing this thing in 10 seconds. And I'm like walking away from the keyboard. I got to go make dinner, guys. So just hold on. Finally, what was the other thing I noticed? Oh, a couple people in general chat were making fun of Torian, 3 or 4 times says something that sounds like martini over
Martini,
and over.
Yeah.
And
I did not notice that.
Martinis on Darvanis sounds like a great conclusion to the day. So I'm all for that. And I think with that, our EPC 145 can jerk a deer right out of here. So thanks to all of you for joining us on newoverlords.com or on iTunes or YouTube or live on Twitch. We will stream again next Tuesday night, assuming BioWare doesn't do something crazy to us and drop new content on Wednesday again. And we do stream on twitch.tv/newoverlords around 10:30 p.m. Central. Please follow us on Twitter at MaxTheGray and at AIESEMA, and subscribe on YouTube. And come find us on Jedi Covenant and ask us for an AIE Guild invite. We would love to have you. And we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.